Just a couple of reminders. Currently, we have the annual 2024 annual open print competition on display in the lobby of the Lloyd George U.S. Courthouse at 333 South Las Vegas Boulevard. The results will be published in the June issue of Focal Expressions, but if you can't wait until then to see them, you can go down on Tuesday and see what they are. The award winners are designated on the prints. Also, those of you who wish to have some copy included in the June newsletter, please remember to submit it no later than this coming Tuesday evening to publisher at nevadacameraclub.org. For this evening, our competition staff includes setup assistant Stephen Cupp, Linda Hicks, Mary Sheets, and Ed Stiglitz. The announcer is Linda Hicks. Our projectionist is Stephen Cupp. Our scorekeeper is Mary Sheets, and our merits recorder is Julie Chadburn. This evening, our judges are in Chair 1, Harry Gooman, Chair 2, Janice Phillips, Chair 3, Ron Frost, Chair 4, Jerome Hamilton, and Chair 5, Alan Duff. We had 32 members enter 93 images in 34 unique categories. 3 of those members entering tonight are either new or returning members. For those of you who have live mics, please turn off your cell phones. Judges, we would appreciate when you make your comments if you include a strength as well as a suggestion for improvement. And now here is your Nevada Camera Club electronic image competition for May of 2024. I'd like to start with judges 2, 4, and 5. We'll be starting with advanced color abstract, UFOs. Scores 877. Comment?
Well, the image has a lot of interest. I like the red against the blue scratches, whatever in the background. It's still hard to make a focus in a certain area. I do like the different sizes of the different oblong, whatever.
The image received a 22. Same judges, same category.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Can we go? Yeah, just I see a line on the right side and not on the left side. I just want to make sure the other judges see that as well.
Yes.
I do see
Okay.
that. Wasn't
Okay.
sure.
So yeah, so I just want to make sure it wasn't anything in my screen or whatever, but just to the maker, you need to check that, just so you don't, because I do it myself. Once in a while you have that line on the edge. If you're doing some cropping or something, sometimes it'll give you a line. So you got to check for that, because that did bring it down just a little bit.
Once again, we'll move on to curves.
Hang on just a minute. I lost the screen here. So all I'm seeing is the judges. What happened to my screen?
Try
Go up to view. Are you side by side gallery?
New. Side by side. Oh, there it goes. Got it. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you, Janice.
Can you say it again, Linda, please? I'm sorry.
This is
Linda,
curves.
Linda,
Yes.
you're not coming through very well on your,
Is that
audio.
better?
That's better, yes.
Okay. Curves, once again, is the title of this image.
And what group is it?
This is advanced color abstract. Scores? 889.
So I really like this. I think the impact of this is the color and the shades and the shapes. It's a very pleasing shape. And I think the color and the shadows and the lines just add to that. Well done.
I just wanted to say I was borderline and I decided to go down because of the white areas that are overexposed. Maybe you could use Photoshop to fill those in because this really is a very beautiful image.
Image received a 25. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, starting with curves and going back 1 to UFOs. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for UFOs. Scores? 2, 2, 2. So the judges have chosen curves. We'll keep the same judges, please, for junior animals and pets in color. Cat close up. That was the title we were given.
Dog named Cat.
Scores? 888.
I think for a junior, this is an absolutely great image. You captured the ears perked up, which, yes, when you hear a cat, you think the dog can hear you saying that as well. So, very nice. I like to catch light in the dog's eyes. There's a few extra ones, and sometimes in portraiture, we kind of want to down that to just one catch light in the eyes, and your extra lights just kind of emphasize or highlight areas of the portraiture. Only thing that drawback on this image is just the chair stool in the background. If you could have got that out of there, I think this would have been nice.
The image received a 24 was the only image in the category. Same judges for beginner color animals and pets. Ugly duck. Scores? 998.
I think for a beginner, you did an excellent job. The head is the main focus. It stays there because of the red. The feathers are sharp. And the only thing you could have maybe done is get rid of the bright area in the left on the top where the white is. Good job.
The image received a 26 was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 4, please, for intermediate color animals and pets. Buster in the desert.
What level is this?
Intermediate.
Okay.
Scores? 898.
I think this is a really nice portrait of this dog. It's sharp. Maybe, I mean, you could have used Photoshop maybe just to brighten the eyes a little bit. I like the fact that it's environmental. He's, you know, it's in the flowers. You got the background out of focus. So that was very good.
Image received a 25 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for advanced color animals and pets. Cooper's hawk in the river. Scores? 989.
So
Comment?
very well composed. Yeah, it's a very well composed image. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Very well composed image. The pose of the bird is excellent. The eyes are actually looking straight at you, and the water in the ground. Everything I think is. I find the picture to be quite impressive, appealing.
The image received a 26.
Linda, I want to say something real quick, just because I know this is going to come up because we've been battling with this category lately with a lot of questions on what the category means, what the category doesn't. And I know I've scored a couple images down a little bit from saying I didn't feel that they were necessarily an animal pets. This one I scored high because it is a great image, but also from some animals like a hawk. Now we can't see if he has a band on his leg, but hawks are more trainable. So this could be somebody's pet versus some animals that I feel are not somebody's pet that would come when you call them or respond. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm sure there's people out there wondering and questioning why this one scored higher than some other images.
Thank you, Jerome. Also in advanced color animals and pets, Tilly, Queen of the Desert. Scores? 888.
In this image, I really like the colors and the way the dog is posed. What could have improved it is you could have made the eyes pop out a little bit in this category. And I'm not fully sure about why the tongue is like so purplish. Maybe that's just my monitor. That seems a little bit over processed, but otherwise, picture with a lot of potential.
Image received a 24. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, starting with Tilly, Queen of the Desert, and going back 1 to Cooper's hawk in the river. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Cooper's hawk. Scores? 1, 1, 1. So the judges have chosen Cooper's hawk. Judges 2, 3, and 5, please, for Master Color Animals and Pets, A Quackin' Good Sunset. Scores? 899.
And I wasn't supposed to be judging.
2, 3, and 5.
Do it again, or,
No, we're good.
okay.
Our
So
spare
I-
judge came up with what the other judges did, so we're fine.
It's a great picture. I mean, the colors are just so impactful here. The composition is really nice with the bird at a little bit of an angle. Nice little motion in the water. It's sharp. See the eye. That's all good. It's always a challenge with the background, but I don't think the background's too bad here.
The image received a 26 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for Master Monochrome Animals and Pets. Here's looking at you. This is 2, 3, and 5 for our judges. Scores? 888.
It's a very nice image of the dog. I like the face. It's not quite as good as it could be because I can't see anything in the eyes, either a highlight or something. I'm trying to decide what's there, but the rest of the dog looks quite intrigued and interested.
Image received a 24 was the only image in the category. Same judges, please. We have another junior entry, this time in color commercial, Blackstone. Scores? 888.
I really like the angle that you have this. I think it's a grill. I'm not sure. So in some way you needed to take a picture to make sure I know exactly what this item is. And in the background, that table probably could have been moved, or this grill or whatever it is could have been moved to block out that table and the red in the background. Otherwise, I liked your close-up shot. You've got the name clear and you're on the right track.
Image received a 24 was the only image in the category. Judges 3, 4, and 5, please. Intermediate, color commercial. Route 66 attraction, Twin Arrows Trading Post, road sign.
Just give me all the demographics, not the title again, please.
Intermediate, color commercial.
Thank you.
Scores? 787.
So I think the subject is interesting. This arrow got graffiti on it, and it's colorful. I think the two things that came to my mind is, first, the horizon's not level. And the second is, I'm assuming this business is out of business. And so I'm not sure that commercial would be promoting a business that's out of business.
The image received a 22. It was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for intermediate color creative, double vision. Scores 778.
I like the tunnel vision effect or the zoom effect that you probably use, but it could be other things. I think it would have been a lot stronger with just one of these instead of the both, because both of them are really nice in their own subject, but having the two together, I think, takes away from the other.
Image received a 22. It was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for master color creative, morning after the rain. Scores 888.
Very nice image. I especially like the fact that we can see the reflection of some of the buildings in the water that's down on the ground. I'm not quite sure what the clouds did for us for the image, but I enjoy seeing the buildings in the front faces.
Image
Linda, I would just add on that, I mean, it's a beautiful picture, assuming maybe a city in Europe, but I'm not sure what the creative aspect of it is. Maybe added the sky or something. I'm not sure. But it's just the creative category. I'm not sure what the creativity is.
Image received a 24 was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please, for intermediate color documentary, gear down approach. Scores 777.
So I
So
love.
I think this is a
Go ahead. Go ahead, Harry.
great. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say I love plane pictures, and this is a great picture of the plane. I think either you put it up in the sky or you put it below the mountain, but just kind of on the mountain, it looks awkward that it's landing or crashing on the mountain. It's either just be above the mountain or below, but not sitting on top of it.
Image received a 21. Same judges, same category. VFA 113 in the Sidewinder. Scores 888.
I like this angle of the jet. I mean, you can even see into the cockpit. I love the fuel fumes in the back. It's great. I think you could have just cropped it and cropped a lot of the mountain out, make it more of a slim line. And because the snow is just you know, a little overexposed, so it's taken away from the image, and maybe even lighten it up a little bit for the plane to show a little bit brighter.
Image received a 24. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, starting with VFA 113 in the Sidewinder and going back 1 to gear down approach. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for gear down approach. Scores 2, 2, 2. So the judges have chosen VFA 113 in the Sidewinder. Judges 1, 2, and 3, please, for advanced color documentary, poacher-free hornless rhino.
Can you repeat the title again?
Poacher-free hornless rhino. Scores 8, 8, 9.
And I like the image. Who wants to speak?
You have the floor, Janice.
All right, it's a very nice image. I love the colors in it. You know, the density of the whole image is really nice.
Image
I just
ahead.
wish the smaller rhino could see more of his face, or it was facing the same way. But it is a nice documentary of the rhinos.
Image received a 25. Juvenile great horned owl at Floyd Lamb. Scores 8, 8, 9.
I think the capture on the owl itself is quite excellent. I'm intrigued by the fact that it looks like one of his claws is being held up and maybe like holding onto the branch with one claw. But I like the expression on the owl. Excellent.
Image received a 25. Artful ceiling. Scores 7, 8, 8.
What I like about this image is the color scheme is actually pretty good, and the pattern is quite well in focus. But to me, in terms of being a documentary, I was actually trying to understand what exactly might be documented. And personally, I think it would make a more stronger image if you had like a wider of an angle to show more of the context of where this is what is going on.
Image received a 23. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with artful ceiling, going back 1 to juvenile great horned owl at Floyd Lamb, and going back 1 more to poacher-free hornless rhino. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3 for the rhino. Scores 2, 1, 1. The great horned owl scores 1, 2, 2. And the artful ceiling scores 3, 3, 3. So the judges have chosen the poacher-free hornless rhino for first, and in second is the great horned owl. Judges 2, 4, and 5, please, for master color documentary. Come visit. Scores 8, 8, 8.
I think this is a really good find. I like the colors, the blue and the yellow and the house, the blue and the shutters, the red dress. I think really gives us some impact and makes it pop out. I think just the shadows, so time of day, it's not necessarily helping, but you know, for an overall just kind of a snapshot, I think it looks really nice.
Image received a 24. Zy-Bye.
We are in master, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Scores 7, 7, 8.
So a documentary, I love the little boy holding the cat. He has a lot of interest, a lot of character. I think he's in the shadow, so you don't get a lot of highlights. I mean, that's all good. The challenge here is I don't think the guy on the right is helping. I just crop him out, still get some of the background with the fence and maybe the structure there, so we get some environment. But chopping him off or just kind of halfway through the body is really not helping.
Image received a 22. Antarctic explorers. Scores 9, 8, 8.
I was the high score. I really like this image. It really documents this. I mean, the red on their coats just make it pop. The only thing is, I would have cropped it a little bit more. You don't need as much water at the bottom. You don't need as much on the left, but I still think this is a great image.
Image received a 25. Sistine Chapel ceiling. Scores 889.
So I really like this image. I mean, I think when we look at a documentary like this, we're not judging the artwork. That's somebody else's artwork. We're documenting whether you did a good job of displaying this ceiling. And I like that it's off center a little bit, that it's not bullseye. I think the lighting is really good because I'm sure it's fairly dark in there. And I think you could have turned up the saturation or maybe the contrast a little bit so it pops a little more, but I think you did a good job of documenting the ceiling.
The image received a 25. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with the Sistine Chapel ceiling, going back 1 to Antarctic explorers, and going back 2 to come visit. So judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for come visit. Scores 333. Antarctic explorers. Scores 111. So the judges have chosen Antarctic explorers for first and Sistine Chapel ceiling for second. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please, for intermediate monochrome nature wildlife, morning glory in the mist. Scores 788.
So I think the subject is a good one, and the contrast against the dark background is very good. The lighting could actually have been more favorable so that you could actually expose from the front. And at least from my perspective, I think the part in the front is called the pistol. It should have been in focus in a picture like this. So if you have to actually do this again, I'd probably try to focus on those pistols and then have enough of a depth of field to be able to get all of it, because some of the focus is trailing off in the top part of the image as well.
The image received a 23. It was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 3, and 4, please. We are moving into advanced color nature wildlife. Night heron. Scores 888.
I think this is a lovely picture of this bird. I love that red eye, which gives it the pop and makes you automatically go right there when you first look at this. The lighting is from a nice angle because it's really low. You can see that, and I love how you have texture throughout the feathers. It looks like it's a little bit bright on his bottom feathers, like right at the top of his legs and his legs. And you can burn those down a little bit and maybe burn this rock down a little bit too, because that fuzzy brightness kind of draws me away from everything else. A little bit extra room in the sky, but I think it's okay because the background's really nice with the blues and the greens.
Image received at 24. Nazca Booby. Scores 787.
So I'll go. I think from my perspective, it's a very unique angle that you've captured. And so that part I really like. The beak and the eyes are very much in focus. But the body of the bird seems overexposed, and I see a lot of noise in the part above where the background is. That could have been actually either darkened and then maybe worked on so that the noise wasn't as visible.
Image received at 22. Next generation bighorn. Scores 898.
I really like the image of the little bighorn. I was considering going down one because of the foliage on the right, but you've got the animal, you've got to look around, you've got an appropriate background for it to be in. So really nice image.
Image received at 25. And Anna's visits hibiscus. Scores 999.
This is an easy one to talk about. Great focus through the bird and also the stamen coming out of the flower. A little catch light in the eye is nice. A little movement in the wing is nice. The only thing I would do is maybe just take a little bit off the bottom, make it a little bit more slimline. It's not going to hurt it either way. It's a really good image.
Image received at 27. On duty. Scores 888.
I think the mood of the picture with the two birds, the adult one and the baby one, that is, I think, the most exciting part of this image. It's very much in focus. The composition is great. I would have scored it higher if the branches were less overwhelming in the image.
Image received a 24. Pygmy kingfisher. Scores? 999.
Lovely image of the kingfisher. I like especially the fact that it's got its lunch there in its mouth. That's all nice and sharp. The branch gives it a good stability and a base for the image. So excellent image.
Image received a 27. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with pygmy kingfisher, going back to an Anna's visits hibiscus, and going back 1 to next generation bighorn. Judges, a 1 or a 2 or a 3, please, for next generation bighorn. Scores? 333. And Anna's visits hibiscus. Scores? 212. And pygmy kingfisher. Scores? 121. So the judges have chosen pygmy kingfisher for the purple, and in second place on duty. Judges 2, 4, and 5, please, for advanced monochrome nature wildlife, charging hippo.
I'm sorry, who are the judges, Linda? Sorry.
Judges 2, 4, and 5.
And can I have demographics? I don't need the title, thanks.
Advanced monochrome nature wildlife. Scores? 889.
So I think this is a great image. I think it's a good image for black and white because you just focused on the texture of the water and the hippo. So it's just this explosion of energy you can see coming out of the water here. And I think you captured it with a really fast shutter speed to freeze the drops in the air. The whites are not too blown out, and the hippos, the lighting on it is just right. I think it's great, and timing was everything.
Image received a 25 was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please, for master color nature wildlife, spiderwort. Scores? 898.
I like the image. I like the position of the flowers. I love the blue, against the yellow. A couple of things. Like, the leaf in the back's a little bit bright. You could have darkened that down a little bit. But overall, it's just a pleasing image.
Image received a 25. Penguin Village. Scores? 888.
So I think this is an incredible place. This is so beautiful to be there and see this scene and see these penguins and the location. It's just really well done. I just think maybe this penguin down in the bottom left and the bottom right, and then kind of on the middle right. I don't think those are helping. I maybe would just crop those out and focus just a little closer on the penguins and the ocean and the mountain behind it. In fact, I don't even think you need that bright white mountain at the top of the image. I just zoom in on this incredible scene of these penguins on this rock.
Image received a 24. 24. Let me go. Scores? 899.
I think this shows a lot of action and got it during the migration, and it just holds your interest. The only thing I would have done is crop it below that rock above the animal's head, or cloned it out or something, because the two animals are nice and sharp and it shows a lot of action.
Image received a 26. A lion's gaze. Scores? 999.
It's a beautiful image. I mean, I love the fact that his eyes match his coloring. I don't know who did his highlights, but they look really nice. I mean, just the look on his face, the angle of his head, it's so sharp. It's just beautiful.
Image received a 27. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with a lion's gaze, going back 1 to let me go, and going back 2 to spiderwort. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for spiderwort. Scores? 333. Let Me Go. One more, Stephen. Scores 2-2-2. So the judges have chosen a lion's gaze. Judges 2, 3, and 5, please. For beginner color people, night scroller. Scores 7-7-7.
Well, we all agree. I just think it's because he's not in focus at all. And then because you're stationary and can move, you should kind of move so that you didn't get that bright blue and red background, which kind of takes our eye away, and just kind of move in an area to try not to capture those bright colors that compete with him.
Image received a 21 was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for advanced color people, The Dancer. Scores 9-8-8.
He's not supposed to be judging.
We were judges 2, 3, and 5 still.
A very nice image. The model, the dancer looks quite good. The one piece of the orange background that's covered part of her left arm takes just a little bit away from the image. So I like her expression. I like the fact that she caught her face as well.
Image received a 25 and was the only image in the category. Judges 2, 3, and 5, please, for intermediate color photojournalism, Alice Jones Smash. Scores 9-9-8.
So I think this is a great photojournalism, tells a story, capturing the action here just at the right moment as the ball's hitting the paddle. The only little teeny thing is that I think the ball, you might have brightened it up too much, and it's kind of bled from the ball over into the paddle a little bit. So I wouldn't brighten that ball quite as much.
Image received a 26 and was the only image in the category. Judges 2, 4, and 5, please, for advanced color photojournalism, team roping. Scores 9-7-8.
I was the high score because I think it really tells a story and shows them both working hard. I, you know, it's a nighttime. You had to use a slower shutter speed, so the one guy's soft, but the other guy's really sharp. I like the guys even in the background who are paying attention and watching. So I thought it was good.
Would either the 7 or the 8 like to speak?
I will talk. Hopefully you did a lot of these, and this wasn't the only one, and you can go through some of them. I think it's just a bad place to capture with the guys right behind him. I like that they're watching and they're paying attention. Just if they were off to one side or the other a little bit, before he got there after, because when they blend in, they kind of take away from your rider and your roper. Yes, I do understand a little bit slow shutter speed is why they should be about the same if it's shutter speed, but I understand he's a little bit probably moving a little bit faster and the other guy's a little bit slower. Your focus is on the back because county fairgrounds behind the rider is like really crisp, sharp. It's just kind of not as crisp on the right side of the image. So for advance, we should be able to know the difference in that, or at least see that in the images.
Image received a 24. Same judges, same category. Blue camouflage. Scores 888.
So this is a nice image. I mean, I like the blue camouflage on the plane. It makes it really interesting. And I like the flame coming out the exhaust there. That makes it interesting too. Um, this thing here is, again, it's either should be in the sky or on the ground below the mountain. I think having them right on between the sky and the mountain is a distraction. Now, I just tell you on these airplanes, if you don't get the canopy, I don't think you have the shot. So I think, it's like the eyes on a person or an animal. You have to have the canopy to have a good shot. You did that here, and it's sharp and it's good. I just think that it needs to be either higher or lower on the mountain.
Image received a 24. The colors of nature. Scores 788.
I will say I was right on the edge of the 7. I did go 8 because I think this is a nice presentation. I like the depth of field with this, the focus and blending off in the end. And I also like the colors. This is a very, very pleasing image. To be in photojournalism, you need to have a strong story, and your colors of nature, I don't think is this strong enough story to give it a better score.
Image received a 23. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with the colors of nature, going back 1 to blue camouflage, and going back 1 to team roping. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for team roping.
What was the first one that you said?
Colors of nature.
Okay.
So 1, 2, or 3 for team roping. Scores May2024. Blue camouflage. Scores 112. And colors of nature. Scores 333. So the judges have chosen blue camouflage. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please. Master color photojournalism, UNLV run. Scores 899.
So I think the strength of this image is the UNLV player in red. That really pops. There's a lot of impact. He is totally separate from the other players. So you see all of them, you see his eyes, and then you see these three players coming in for the tackle, and even the purple pink glove gives impact to it. So I just think that the elements here are all really well done.
Image received a 26. Playing with fire. Scores 877.
I gave it a 7 because, I mean, I see this big flame and I don't know where it's coming from. And nobody in the crowd is even looking, barely looking at it. So it's kind of confusing.
Image received a 22. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, starting with playing with fire and going back 1 to UNLV run. Judges, a 1 or 2, please, for UNLV run. Scores 111. So the judges have chosen UNLV run. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please, for beginner color pictorial reflections. Janice, are you frozen? I think she is. She'll be back. Okay, let's try again.
I disappeared. I'm still.
So 1, 2, and 5 scores, please. 8, 8, 8.
So for a beginner, you did a really good job. I mean, you're there early, so the water is still dark and it's still, so there's no wind. You got a beautiful reflection, a little bit of cloud in the sky. I don't think there's a center of interest here. And so it'd be nice to have a reflection with something that, you know, draws your eye to it. And just kind of wander back and forth in this picture. So well, maybe with the barn in the background and reflection off of that as your center of focus, or something that's a center of focus would be strengthen the image.
Image received a 24 and was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please, for intermediate color pictorial, Desert View Watchtower. Scores? 7, 7, 8.
And your focus is the tower, and the tower's not as bright as the foreground, and that's a little overexposed. So if you'd have cropped it and just kind of focused on the tower with some of the people, that would have increased the points for this image.
Image received a 22 and was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 3, and 4, please, for advanced color pictorial, Hemes Bosque. Scores? 8, 8, 8.
All the interest is in the branches coming up and the leaves. I do like the starburst. I think even if it wasn't there, this would still be an amazing image. I love the light cast across the grass on the ground. It really adds a lot of interest, and it brings you from the leaves back and forth, just kind of following the tree trunks. I think if you would have darkened the sky and the leaves around the sky a little bit darker, it would have helped a lot.
Image received a 24. Death Valley Lake, 2005. Scores? 8, 8, 8.
The reflection in the lake looks very, very nice. You've got the mountains, you've got the lake. The foreground kind of subtracts a little bit from it, especially that bush there on the lower left.
Image received a 24. Grand Canyon with cloud. Scores 797.
I'll talk first, and we'll see if somebody else wants to talk. I think this is a pretty good point of view. I like your viewpoint, is what I'm saying. I like the bush coming out. I like the shadows. I think that adds a lot of interest. I think the sun going down or sunrise, I forget which one it was, but the it's not adding a lot of interest. The color tone is not adding. I think maybe to correct it a little bit would have helped, because the color looks off in the front where it looks pretty good in the back.
Image received at 23. Sand imprints. Scores 899.
I like this monochrome feel, and I think that's like majority of the impact of this image. It feels like a black and white, but then again, it looks like it's probably white sands, because the sand all kind of has a blue cast to it. I love the footsteps going in. I think that really leads you into the image. The background, it'd be great if it was all in focus. Might have got 3 nines out of the judges, and maybe just a little bit more room on top. Other than that, I think it's really nice.
Image received at 26. Puerto Gato, Baja. Scores 888.
This is a pretty good composition. And what I think, at least in my opinion, hurt it a little bit was the time of the day. If you had the rock in the middle, or the whatever the feature in the middle, better lit, because that seems to be the center point and the focus, then that would have made this a much stronger image.
Image received at 24. Alstrom Point, Lake Powell. Scores 898.
This is a great point of view. I'm not sure if you did multiple images to make this. That's kind of what it appears to, just because the focus throughout is so incredible. Even if you didn't, you still did a great job. I love to see the water in the background. I love how the mountains kind of lead around out to that. I think there's just maybe a little too much sky, because it's too close to being split in half sky, half um, canyon. And I think it would have been a lot nicer to see a little bit more canyon, a little bit less sky. But this is an amazing image.
Image received at 25. Quiet morning. Scores 888. Comment?
So, yeah, the composition, the point of view is generally very interesting because you have some light coming on the mountain in the back, and the sky is very nice. A lot of interest in the sky. In my opinion, the image would be stronger if the sky was a little bit darker and more balanced with the rocks, because my eye keeps going on to that cloud, and if with a little bit balance, it would actually make a lot more interesting.
Image received a 24. Alaska. Scores 877.
I like how you have the C curve and the stream. Your horizons, it's getting, up a little bit to the 2/3. Then you have the mountain in the background. I like the clouds and the mountain, even though it is, kind of a hazy day. I still think it's okay, and it adds a little bit of interest. Not an overly exciting image overall. And then with the bear walking away, seeing the bear butt, he's not actually adding anything to the image. Maybe if he were coming this way, it would have added a little bit more. So you can't change that.
Image received a 22. Judges, you have 6 images to review for placement, so you may want to grab your cards so you can keep track of them. We'll start by going back 1 to Quiet Morning, back 1 to Alstrom Point, Lake Powell, back 1 to Puerto Gato, Baja, back 1 to Sand Imprints, back 2 to Death Valley Lake, 2005, and back 1 to Jemez Bosque. I know you want to see him again. So Jemez Bosque, forward 1 to Death Valley Lake, 2005. Forward 2 to Sand Imprints. Forward 1 to Puerto Gato. Forward 1 to Alstrom Point. And forward 1 to Quiet Morning. Are we good, or do we need a third tour?
I'm good. Yes, please.
Okay.
One more.
One more? Okay.
Yes.
This is Quiet Morning. Back 1 to Alstrom Point. Back 1 to Puerto Gato. Back 1 to Sand Imprints. Back 2 to Death Valley Lake. And back 1 to Jemez Bosque. Ready?
Yep.
Judges, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. for Jimenez Bosque. Scores? 4-1. Death Valley Lake. Scores? 3-6-6. Sand Imprints. Scores? 1-1-2. Puerto Gato, Baja. Scores? 5-5-5. Alstrom Point.
I think I did it. Can we actually go back through again?
Certainly.
Because
Let's go all the way back to Jimenez Bosque at the beginning. Judges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, please. Scores? 4-2-1. Okay. Death Valley Lake. Scores? 5-6-6. Sand Imprints. Scores? 1-1-2. Puerto Gato, Baja. Scores? 6-5-5. Alstrom Point, Lake Powell. Scores? 2-3-3. And Quiet Morning. Scores? Harry, pick yours up a little bit. I can't see the number. Thank you. 3-4-4. Okay. Give us a minute to double check these numbers. You did well. You didn't have any ties. In first place, you chose Sand Imprints. Second was Hemes Bosque. And third is Alstrom Point, Lake Powell. Okay. Judges 2, 3, and 5, please, for advanced color portraiture, Free and Breezy. Scores 8, 9, 8.
I like the tilt of her head. I like the texture of her skin. I love that fact that her hair is blowing. I'm not sure if I like the position of her hands and arms. And I wish she had a little smile more than that look on her face. And I don't know if it needed to be more vertical, matted. I don't know. But it's a nice try. I do like the flowing hair.
Image received a 25. My heart belongs to America. Scores 8, 8, 8.
Very nice image of the face and the hands. The regalia is just not enough in focus to bring it all the way on up to a 9.
Image received a 24. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, starting with My Heart Belongs to America and going back 1 to Free and Breezy. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Free and Breezy. Scores 2, 2, 1. So the judges have chosen My Heart Belongs to America. Judges 1, 2, and 4, please, for Beginner Color Still Life, Barb Wire. Scores 7, 7, 8.
I know I scored a little bit high. We tend to do that with the beginners group. I think most of the interest is where you have the focus. So this side being a little bit out of focus wasn't bothering me. I like the blue tint and the kind of metal feel you see with the barbed wire. I understand where the other judges are coming from because it's too bright in the background and that's taken away. So you have a tendency to look right past the barbed wire at the flowers in the background that are too bright. You could also lose a little bit off of this right side, and I think that would help a little bit more.
Image received a 22 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for Intermediate Color Still Life. Dewdrop In. Scores? 888.
Nice color. So from a technical standpoint, the exposure is probably spot on. Really like the greens. That's the draw. That's the impact. Your depth of field is a little bit too shallow for this image because I think it would be better to have the front dewdrops more in focus than the back. And really my eye goes to the big dewdrop that's in focus, and then it goes up to the top of the leaf that's in focus. So maybe even cropping like half of the picture out of there might really add a lot to this image.
Image received a 24 and was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 4, and 5, please. Advanced color still life. Lilies. Scores? 888.
I think this is a beautiful composition, slightly at an angle, with a nice even background and a combination of, I believe there's some backlighting might be going on here, but the lighting's pretty good, and the image seems to be in focus.
Image received a 24. Same judges, same category. Hidden in shadow. Scores? 778.
So I would say that my initial impact here was creepy. It just unusual. And I actually like the lighting on the head there, but I think the bright edges are really distracting. Either darken those down or take them out completely, but the impact is, if you're trying to create creepy, you did a good job of that.
Image received a 22. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, starting with hidden in shadow and going back 1 to lilies. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for lilies. Scores? 111. So the judges have chosen lilies. Judges 1, 3, and 5, please, for advanced monochrome still life. Gone but not forgotten. Scores? 888.
I like the pattern and your point of view. My reservation is that with all the white and kind of like pure white, a lot of these crosses tend to get blended in before you made this black and white, you could probably see a lot of the differences between the first one, the second one, and the third one. And that may be an alternative way of making this image.
Image received at 24. Old 473. Score 887.
So my impression here, I love the train and the texture of the train and the steam coming out. That's all great. The 473, you can see clearly. So I like your monochrome. Unfortunately, I just think it's lost in the background. The background's so chaotic, it's hard to separate the train from the background. So I think everything would have been great if it had, background was further away or it was more in the open or something.
Image received at 23. High roller. Scores 899.
Very nice capture of the high roller itself. I like the fact that you got one of the units that actually has the name on it. You see the structure very well. You got, really sharp imagery. I would have liked to see a little something other than just the gray sky in the background.
Image received at 26. Judges, you've got 3 images to review for placement, starting with high roller, going back 1 to old 473, and going back 1 more to gone but not forgot. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for gone but not forgot. Scores 332. Old 473. Scores 223. And high roller. Scores 111. So the judges have chosen high roller. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please. We're moving to advanced color unclassified. Huff and walk. Scores 888.
The strength of this image is just this beautiful bird. It's sharp. It's an interesting bird. It has interesting colors. You got the environment there with the rocks around it. I think that's all good. I think the composition, it's off center a little bit. That's really good too. I'd like to see a little more detail in the blacks. Blacks are really solid, so you can't see any feather texture there. But other than that, it's really a beautiful image.
Image received at 24. Monumental sunset. Scores 7-8-7.
From my point of view, the rock and the background all seems out of focus.
Image received a 22. See my neighbor.
Interesting image. I don't understand your title. But I like the effect the glass has on the images in the side, and it just holds my interest. I'm not sure about the frame around it, the window frame, I guess it is, that's lit up. Might have been able to crop that out. But overall, because I guess the red in that sign and the Pepsi Cola sign add a little interest to this image.
Image received a 23. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with See My Neighbor, going back 1 to Monumental Sunset, back 1 to Monumental Sunset, and going back 1 more to Puffin Walk. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for Puffin Walk. Scores 1-1-1. Monumental Sunset. Scores 3-3-3. So the judges have chosen Puffin Walk. Judges 2, 3, and 4, please, for advanced monochrome unclassified cactus flower. Scores 8-8-9.
I really liked this a lot. I thought good texture throughout all the leaves and the stymon in the middle. Um, the lighting's kind of straight from the front, almost, almost like a flash, but I think it works well with this image. Also, kind of being bullseyed, I kind of like that. So, I don't know what I would do to change it or add to it. I think it's done very well.
Image received a 25 was the only image in the category. We are down to our club challenge for tonight, which was macro or small. We have an entry in the junior class called Field Trip.
Name judges, Linda?
That would help, wouldn't it? Judges 2, 4, and 5. Scores 8-7-8.
I'm going to talk because I scored low for a junior. Hopefully the junior is the same one that entered some other ones, because there was a couple nice images from juniors tonight. This one here, I think it's a little bit too soft throughout the whole image, and it's also a little bit too bright throughout the whole image. So kind of a not a lot going on in a good stance, but in a good stance, I do like how the flower kind of goes off at an angle, or the leaves kind of go off at an angle, and you kind of have a monotone image, even though there's a little bit of color, and I like monotone images. If you heard some of my comments throughout the night, so this is a good effort.
Image received a 23 was the only image in the category. For the beginner class, if we can have judges 2, 3, and 5, please. Actually, the last one was called plant. I looked at the wrong one. This next one coming up is called field trip.
That does make a little more sense as well.
Yes. I'm getting cross-eyed, folks. I'm sorry. Scores? 777.
This is a great subject. I mean, you found this duck with her ducklings, and it's well composition, and you really saw a beautiful scene here and captured it. There's just some technical challenges. It's not, of course, real sharp focus, and it's got highlights that are kind of distracting. And it's either enlarged too much or it's just pixelated. So great scene, just need a little technical help.
Image received a 21. Orange Man.
Linda, we're still beginners.
We still are in beginners. Scores? 999.
We are being extremely nice to you. I mean, this is a beautiful image. Close up, everything's sharp except for the head. If that head was sharp, it'd be awesome. I think you did a great job. I can't believe all that front wing, all parts of it is very sharp. And the background's blown out and looks nice because of the depth of field. You did a great job.
Image received a 27. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, starting with Orange Man and going back 1 to Field Trip. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Field Trip. Scores? 222. So the judges have chosen Orange Man. Judges 2, 4, and 5, please, for intermediate club challenge. Beautiful lavender. Scores? 999.
So intermediate, again, you did a great job here. Fits the category so well. The impact color of the flower, and then the bee just seems to be sharp all through it. Background's blown out, just everything I think you could have done. Only a little bit of help. I think that bottom leaf underneath the bee could be eliminated, and those bright spots kind of draw your eye, but just the bee is fantastic.
Image received a 27. Petal attraction. Scores 788.
You know, these are actually really pretty hard to photograph. That fuchsia color just oversaturates, even if you're not trying to. You did really good with the stymon in the middle. I like the little bug at the bottom. I was kind of thinking one of my comments was going to be crop in more, but you know, you kind of want that bug in the bottom. He kind of helps. Maybe if you can just desaturate the flower a little bit or bring the exposure down, that might pull it out a little bit more.
Image
Down, that might pull it out a little bit more.
Image received a 23. Pollination. Scores 889.
I think you did a great job on this image. The insect is very sharp. I would have made this more of a bullseye image and, you know, cropped off the right and had the flower in the center. And the reason I didn't give it a 9 because there's seems to be a green tinge to it. I think a little color balance in there would help this image.
Image received a 25. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with pollination, going back 1 to petal attraction, and going back 1 to beautiful lavender. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for beautiful lavender. Scores 111. Petal attraction. Scores 333. So I'm assuming that you went 222 for pollination. So the judges have chosen beautiful lavender. Okay, judges 1, 3, and 4. We are to advanced club challenge. Red eye orange fly. Scores 888.
The fly is absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, I think the flower is kind of taken away just because they're so blown out. I don't know if you could burn those flowers in a little bit or darken the whole image and bring the eyes back out on the fly a little bit, but this is an amazing image.
Image received a 24. Blue morpho butterfly. Scores 788.
So the head of the butterfly is somewhat in focus. The sharpest part is the bottom of the rock. The closest part to us, which is the wings, the top left wings, they are like quite prominent in the picture and out of focus. So to make this stronger, it would be good to actually get the focus on the butterfly.
Image received at 23. Mother Nature's gem. Scores 888.
A very nice image of the central flower. The background loses a little bit. That lower right piece needs to come out, and I'm not sure that the green has helped us a lot, but the actual image of the flower is spectacular.
Image received at 24. Seasonal cleanup. Scores 898.
This looks like some of my workers. One is sitting down, the other one's just watching, and one guy working. So I can relate.
I beg your pardon.
I didn't say who it was. This is a great idea. I love it. Image wise, I think you did a good effort, and it's really almost there. I like the angles and diagonals that you're putting in there. I think this guy right in the front, though, maybe if he was off to the side a little more or turned around or on the other side, so he's kind of facing us, because we have two guys facing away and one guy we can see his face. So that was just kind of a drawback for me. And other than that, it's a great idea.
Image received at 25. Being pollinated. Scores 898.
I'll go ahead and
There's
talk.
a lot going on in this picture. Yes. I think you have a very good subject. The central part with the flies, they seem to be okay in the focus, but some of the top part is not as well in focus. But I think if just lesser of a scene here, it would be more powerful, in my opinion.
Image received at 25. Cabbage tree emperors. Scores 888.
Image of the two caterpillars is quite excellent. I don't think that the extra vertical branch on the right side helped the image.
Image received at 24. Dragonfly in Summerlin. Scores 898.
love the dragonfly, love the diagonal of his wings. It's got a side, almost kind of a backlighting, which really, you can see all that texture in the wings, and that's really cool. I like the bottom two wings. The top two wings are kind of hard. There's so much going on in that corner. It's kind of taken away. And I mean, I know trying to shoot bugs is not the easiest. This is a great image, and you got a good score.
Image received a 25. Get your close up. Scores 888.
So I scored it at 8 because I really like the color palette and the composition. However, I think there's opportunity to improve this image by actually increasing the depth of field. Parts of the insect, like whatever that thing that is below the face, that part is probably more in focus in the legs, but the actual head doesn't appear to be that much in the focus. So, but broadly, just if you had more depth of field, it would actually be a more powerful image.
Image received a 24. Spring bloom. Scores 888.
We're going to have 16 to review for placement. I like the angle of the flowers coming down. This is kind of a hard lighting, but it's kind of working as well, because I kind of like there's not a lot of texture in the leaves, but I like the shadows that are in the leaves. I think that adds a lot of interest. Maybe a little too much going on, and the red kind of blob at the bottom that's out of focus. I'm sure it's just another leaf, but that probably could have been eliminated, and it would have helped a little bit.
Image received a 24. Seed casting.
That's seed, right?
Seed, yes.
Okay.
Scores 898.
I think the sharpness of the seeds and what I'm going to class I'll call hairs is phenomenal to capture all those sharply. Some look like they were ready to be blown away in the wind, but others are just there in place. Amazing image.
Image received a 25. Tiny ride. Scores? 778.
I kind of liked it, just maybe, for nothing else, it was probably something different, so it grabbed my attention. I like the application to the car. I like the little reflection in the bottom. You probably could have lost some of the top. There's a little bit too much negative space up there.
Image received a 22. Grandfather's watch. Scores? 898.
I think again, just thinking in a different way always helps. And this image has a lot going for it with the lighting. I think it's a little bit bright in the background. Otherwise, I might have gone up a little bit. Everything is in focus, and then I like the addition of the chain because it kind of adds an element of interest. But because the chain is out of focus itself, it also kind of draws away.
Image received a 25. Adehenia Beatrix. Scores? 978. Maybe the high and low want to speak?
I'm the high.
Go ahead.
So I'll, is that okay? Go first.
Sure.
So I really like the composition, and in terms of like the whole insect appears to be in focus. At least the important parts are in focus, and the colors were very good. I found the branch at the bottom a little bit distracting, but I was actually able to overlook that. I thought the insect had quite a lot of impact.
But the insect itself was good, but all that extra brightness of the yellow around it just makes it almost go away.
Image received a 24. Yellow and pink showcase. Scores? 977.
I think there's a nice layout. I like that you chose to bullet this right in the middle, and I also like the square format. So I like that a lot. The pinks and the greens work really well with a little bit of the yellow. I think that helps it a lot. I think we've lost a lot of the flowers on the right side. No texture or anything in there, and then the yellow stymon coming out, the kind of starburst one. those and the feathers, the the flower petals on the left side, they seem just a little bit blown out.
Image received a 23. Enter beauty. Scores? 889.
I think this is very interesting and very intriguing. Um, it's kind of a overall dark image. It's all on the dark side, but I think that adds to the mystery of what I'm looking at. I understand it's a flower, but at the same time, you kind of have your doubts when you're kind of going through it. I also like the format. It really fills the screen and it really grabs your attention.
Image received a 25. Judges, you took 15 entries down to 6. 6, yes. So we'll start with Inner Beauty. Go back 3 to Grandfather's Watch. Go back 2 to Seed Casing. Go back 3 to Dragonfly in Summerlin. Go back 2 to Being Pollinated. And go back 1 to Seasonal Cleanup. Okay, we'll go through those again.
Again.
Seasonal Cleanup, forward 1 to Being Pollinated, forward 2 to Dragonfly in Summerlin, forward 3 to Seed Casting, forward 2 to Grandfather's Watch, forward 3 to Inner Beauty. Good, or one more time?
One more time.
Okay.
One more time, please.
Inner Beauty, back 3 to Grandfather's Watch, back 2 to Seed Casting, back 3 to Dragonfly in Summerlin, back 2 to Being Pollinated, and back 1 to Seasonal Cleanup.
Just back
Good to
up
go?
one more time.
One more time. Okay.
No, one more time. Just
Seasonal Cleanup, Being Pollinated, Dragonfly in Summerlin, Seed Casting, Grandfather's Watch, and Inner Beauty. Okay, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 for Inner Beauty. Scores? 156. Grandfather's watch. Scores? 512. Seed casting. Scores? 4636. Dragonfly in Summerlin. Scores? 224. Being pollinated. Scores? 365. And seasonal cleanup. Scores? 143. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, I think we got it. Well, you managed to get a three-way tie for first. So we have a runoff between seasonal cleanup and Dragonfly in Summerlin and Grandfather's Watch. Okay. So for the next round, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for Grandfather's Watch. Scores? 311. Dragonfly in Summerlin. Scores? 223. And seasonal cleanup. Scores? 132. So the judges have chosen Grandfather's Watch for the blue. In second, seasonal cleanup. And in third, Dragonfly in Summerlin. Well done, judges. I know that was not easy. Okay, judges 2, 3, and 5 for our last category of the night. Master Club Challenge, Rose. Scores? 788.
So I think the initial impression is the beautiful color and spirals in the middle of the picture. And I think that looks very nice. I think the white vignette detracts from the picture.
Image received a 23. Web. Scores 877.
I think it's incredible that you took this picture and got down and got that close and got this picture of this interesting spider. We have some legs in focus, some out of focus. We got some water drops in focus, some out, and then this bright bottom is kind of distracting. So if there's maybe a little too much going on here, but I definitely crop off the bottom.
Image received at 22. Captured roses. Scores 889.
This is a nice image using the reflections of dewdrops to capture the rose. And I like your diagonal. And I like the fact that the roses and the dewdrops are brighter in the background, gives it good separation.
Image received at 25. This is heavy. Scores 999.
It's a great job. The ant is just all of it's in focus. You got this interesting story with it carrying this leaf, and you can see all the textures in the leaf, and the background is completely irrelevant. So it's just really done well.
Image receives at 27. Dinner date.
Hmm.
Scores 888.
An interesting image with the snake and the small, I guess, mouse. You know, the little bit of greenery subtracts from it a bit. I'm not quite sure who's interested in whom. I'm not sure either the snake or the mouse are that interested in each other.
Image received at 24. A spider picnic. Scores 898.
The spider's just really in focus and really interesting and good. Back leg is a little bit out of focus. Back two upper legs are a little bit out of focus, but I think if you focus stack this, you could have got more of the spider in focus, and then you know the center of the plant too is so out of focus. That's a little bit distracting, but the spider is great.
Image received at 25. Pretty in pink. Scores 888.
So it's pretty with the colors and with the white in the middle. That's in focus and sharp. That's good. I think looking at the petals on the flower, that maybe it's been enlarged enough that it's starting to kind of pixelate on the petals of the flower. The middle's great. The petals are not look so great.
Image received a 24. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement. Going back 1 to a spider picnic, going back 2 to this is heavy, and going back 1 to captured roses. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for captured roses. Scores: 2, 3, 2. This is heavy. Scores: 1, 1, 1. And a spider picnic. Scores: 3, 2, 3. So the judges have chosen this is heavy. Thank you, judges and competition staff. The rest of the results of the competition will be included in the June issue of Focal Expressions. The competition video will also be available on YouTube. Hope you all have a good, restful Memorial Day weekend.